Death on the Nile is actually a movie that is out now in theaters. This was delayed so many times since 2019. It became one of those pipe dream movies that just didn't exist. But this is the sequel to Murder on the Orient Express, once again directed by Kenneth Branagh, starring Kenneth Branagh once again as Hercule Poirot, the one of the greatest detectives in fiction. And in this time, he is handling a case that's taking place during a newlyweds honeymoon trip, which is happening in the Nile, and essentially trying to figure out if someone's after them. A potential list of suspects arises, and then eventually, well, stuff starts to hit the fan. Like I said before, this movie was delayed many times since its original release date. At first, it was supposed to apparently go up against Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, then it got delayed because of the COVID pandemic also, and then there were a lot of different controversies and stuff that apparently came up regarding some of the actors in it that I'm not going to go into because there's plenty of articles that do that. And after all of that, now 20th Century Studios has released this movie in theaters. And I went and saw it. And while I didn't think Murder on the Orient Express was a home run by any means, I thought this was a far better movie. I think one of the things that's definitely improved is Branagh's handling of the material. He clearly loves it, and he plays Poirot brilliantly. And there's definitely an old-fashioned sense to his direction that is much more realized in this movie than it was in that film. And I really like that. I thought it was really, very well done. I think this film, in a lot of ways, is an improvement over that film. The all-star cast that surrounds it, they're all really great in the movie. I mean, I'm not going to try and single out performances, but there are a few that are definitely worthy of singling out. And if you see the film, then you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. I can't really go into it because then I would be revealing plot spoilers, and I don't want to do that. I know a couple of other critics have made that similar remark, and I'd like to stick with that as well. I think it's best that I say nothing and you continue to watch the film. It's a beautifully shot film as well. There's a lot of colors, which is great. Something that doesn't always happen in movies anymore. The amount of color that's in here is really pretty cool to see. Yeah, there's some sweeping CGI landscape shots. Some of them look good. Some of them are a little less good, surprisingly. There's one shot in particular where they were definitely trying to go for this visual impact, and I thought, well, I can kind of see the line there around the character, and I thought, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. It's only one shot in the film, but it's a big shot in terms of like the context of it. That's just how I'll put it. But I go back to the old-fashioned sense of the filmmaking. There's definitely a lot of that on display over here, and for that I do definitely praise Branagh quite a bit. That's what I really like about his handling of these stories. Like, even though I don't think they're perfect by any means, which kind of gives away what I officially think of this movie too, there's definitely this kind of love and affection to the source material that I think is definitely there. Like, you can clearly tell that there is a passion to this which is pretty unfathomable. However, while I liked a lot of things about this movie, I also think I liked a lot of it, especially in the second half, because I think the second half of this film is really great. I think the first half of it is a little messy. It takes a long time to actually get going. I know the story itself takes a while to get going, but it's really come down to the pacing. Like, I'm okay with the slow build to eventually what happens, but it's not paced super well. And there's a lot of messy editing every now and then, especially with a few scenes that was a little strange to see. There's like a couple of edits in particular, like, that doesn't quite feel right. There's also some stuff that they seem to have added in and removed in terms of canonical Poirot and in terms of what's happened in the last movie, since this is a sequel. There are some couple of inconsistencies here and there, but really it's the first half. It just comes down to the fact that it's not quite as refined or not quite as well established as I think it could have been. Some things are, and there's definitely a level of intrigue that exists at a core of it, that you're definitely interested in seeing how this eventually will play out. But like I said, those qualms that are there, once you enter the second half is really, really great. And yeah, some things seem a little more obvious while you're watching it. Like, I'm not going to try and spoil anything, but the final reveals that happen, some of them you kind of saw coming. And the film frames it that way. Like, you know it's going to happen. There's a lot of moments with dialogue especially that are like, wink, wink, you know what's coming. And yeah, there's especially one reveal. I was like, you knew that was coming. But beyond that, did I still enjoy watching the movie? Yeah, I did. For the most part, I still think there's a lot to like in it. It just, I think it could have been better at times, and it's not still quite a perfect movie. But like I said, it is an improvement on Murder on the Orient Express for me. And if you guys check it out, let me know what you think. And I'm gonna give Death on the Nile a 7 out of 10. A lot more positives than negatives. Like I said, that second half really saves this movie, and Kenneth Branagh is brilliant as Poirot, and he directed it really, really well. Again, I really like the filmmaking style that he has for this. It really harkens back to how you would make movies like this many, many years ago, and that's not a sight you see often, especially in the 21st century. So kudos to him for emulating that as much as possible. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.